Every day there are deaths and injuries. Some could be avoided. It's natural when that happens to say, we should do something about it. There ought to be a law. But what are the unintended consequences of laws like that?
Well, there ought to be a law.
There ought to be a law.
But why isn't there a law?
And so we get more laws, meant to make us safer. Because 700 Americans die in bike accidents every year. That's 2 a day. Some places now have passed laws requiring every biker to wear a helmet. It only seems sensible since head injuries are what kill people.
But a properly fitted helmet cushions the blow, protecting the head and brain from injury.
So helmets should protect people like me. For years I've ridden my bike to work, and for years I rode without a helmet.
This is probably the most dangerous thing I do.
It's probably very dangerous. 2020's offices are in New York City. I ride around cars. This year I finally started wearing a helmet. I wasn't forced to. New York has no law requiring adults to wear them, but my friends talked me into it, and frankly I was surprised. Today's helmets are better. They're comfortable.
So this should make me much safer, right?
Maybe not, because often safety measures have unintended consequences. Ian Walker is an avid cyclist and human behavior researcher at the University of Bath in England.
Down here we've got an ultrasonic distance sensor.
He set up a bike with a sensor and camera and rode for miles with and without a helmet. His data showed that cars reacted differently when he had the helmet on.
When I wore a helmet, there was a quite considerable tendency for drivers to get closer.
What's the reasoning? The driver says, oh, he has a helmet. If I hit him, he'll live.
No. It's that they're saying he knows what he's doing. When they see a cyclist who has all the gear, they think that's a sign of someone who's experienced and skillful.
Walker found 23% more cars came within 3 feet of him when he wore a helmet. And he says there's another unintended consequence of helmet laws.
Parts of Australia, Canada and New Zealand have made bicycle helmets a requirement. And what you see is that when you make them a requirement, the number of head injuries among cyclists in those countries drops off.
Good.
Great. However, the number of cyclists is dropping off at exactly the same rate.
And assuming they don't rush out and start doing other exercise, that's not a good thing.
When people don't cycle, they're not getting exercise. We know that not getting exercise and being sedentary is incredibly dangerous. You get heart attacks, you get strokes, proven killers that kill thousands of people. So when people make helmets a requirement with the best intentions, it may actually kill more people.
And here's another unintended consequence. Now that I wear a helmet, I feel safer. So I've noticed that I take more risks. I ride in traffic more often. Economists call this the Peltzman Effect, the idea that people adjust their behavior in a way that counteracts the intended safety effect. Unintended consequences of well-intended safety rules are not unusual. In 1972, the FDA passed a law requiring child safety caps on medications. It was supposed to keep kids from getting into the medications, especially aspirin. Kids can still open them, but it's tougher.
So, requiring safety caps sounds like a great idea. But there was an unexpected side effect. Some parents, feeling protected by the caps, just left aspirin where kids could get to it. And some people, especially older people, having trouble opening these, just left the caps off altogether.
This study on the lulling effect concluded that 3,500 more children have been poisoned by aspirin because of the regulation.
You want to turn a page?
And here's an odd one. Most of us, when we have a new baby in the house, and I was no exception, make an extra effort to keep the house especially clean. But now there's research suggesting that kids who are exposed to more endotoxins, mild dust, bacteria, pollen, kids who go to daycare or have pets or live on farms, are less likely to develop allergies and asthma. This may be why my daughter got asthma. She often had to use this ventilator when she was a child. Maybe my wife and I were responsible.
Maybe we kept you too clean?
I mean, maybe, but what, you're supposed to just move to a farm?
I'm relieved she doesn't blame me.
You're not ticked off at me that I kept you too clean?
I don't think you did keep me too clean. If anyone did, it was Mom.
So a sterile house, safety caps, helmets, all mean well. But you never know what the unintended consequence will be.
We have to ask the question, is it worth it? Do we really overall benefit? Are people really safer? Every time you do something positive, you're probably going to get some negative outcomes too.
And here's a final bizarre idea from Ian Walker.
When I was doing the study, it wasn't part of the original plan, but a lot of people asked, do you think this would be different if you were a woman?
To find out, he ran his test wearing this wig. He rode for miles and measured how close the cars came.
I found that when, from behind, I looked more feminine, I got quite a lot more space from overtaking vehicles.
Drivers give women more space.
It looks like they do. It may just be that they're that bit more unusual. It may be some sort of chivalry.
So if I want to protect myself, maybe I should ditch the helmet and get a wig.
Possibly.
Could this be a safety device?
So I tried it. I bought this wig and took my usual route to work.
The things I do for 2020.
I couldn't tell if cars stayed farther away or not. I think I was too embarrassed to even look.
I don't care how safe this makes me. It's not worth it.